Why, hello, Prealgebra students. This is Lesson 24. Our objective is, how do you add and subtract decimal numbers? We're also going to be dealing a little bit with ordering them or being able to tell which one is bigger and smaller and things like that. Before we do this, let's talk about alphabetizing. Whenever we alphabetize, if it's like Alfred and Buford, we know that Buford comes after Alfred. But when the letters are the same, we have to move on to the second letter. So these are some made-up names. Some of them are pretty awesome. So there's Larry, Lauren, and Laxery. So notice they all have the same first letter. So then we have to go to the second letter to figure out which one would come first. Right? Larry and Laxery have the same second letter, but we know O comes after A, so we know this one's going to be the last one. So then we have to look at this. So one of these is going to be the first one. So we know this one's last. So let's look at these two. Well, they both have A as the second letter, so let's look at the third letter. We know R comes before X. So that means Larry would be the first one, then Laxery, then Lauren. Would be kind of the order that those would go in. We do the same thing when we're dealing with decimal numbers. We kind of start at the left and work our way to the right. So I guess let's look at these. We're trying to order these, and I'm trying to just find the smallest one, and immediately one jumps out right here. It's negative, and all the rest of these are positive numbers. So that means my smallest number is going to be -1. Now let's look through. I'm going to go ahead and just cross this one off, so I know I've used that one. Now I'm looking through and finding another smallest number. Well, this is bigger than 0. That is 0. That's bigger than 0. That's bigger than 0. That's bigger than 0. So that means 0 is going to be my next smallest number. Okay. Now let's look through here. This is a half, or 0.5. This is bigger than 1, smaller than 1, bigger than 1. So it's going to be one of these two. And like I just said, this is the same thing as 0.5. So as we look at it, the 0 and the 0 is the same. So let's go to the right on the decimal. So this is a 3 and that's a 5. So which one is bigger? Well, the 5 is bigger, so that means this one would come first. So the next one would be 0.3. My next number then, since the 2 and the 1.75 is bigger than 1, is going to be 1/2. Right, and even though I said, hey look, those are the same thing, I still write what number they gave me. So I use that one. And then, which number is bigger, 2 or 1.75? Well, the 2 is going to be bigger, because again, I just look at the farthest left one. The decimal place is right here, if we were to have one. So the farthest left, hey look, this is a 1 and that's a 2, so this is obviously bigger than that one. So then, I would say 1.75 and then 2. Got them all. Here is my answer. So, part B here is to compare. So let's compare. They both have a 0 in the ones position, so let's move to the next place. In the 10th position, they both have 0. Okay, so let's move to the next place. The 100th place. This one has a 3, this one has a 3. So far, we're kind of like at L and A. We still have the same point. So let's move on to the 1000th position. This one has a 6, this one has a 5. So which one is bigger, the 6 or the 5? Well, the 6 is bigger, so that means this number is going to be bigger than this one. So then, we'd put a greater than sign there. Let's just add and subtract, which is what we said our objective was. For me, it is so much easier to add and subtract decimals when I add them vertically. So we are going to just rewrite those 7.5. And remember, we must line up the decimal points as we are adding and subtracting. And then we can also just fill in zeros under or above numbers that don't have any numbers underneath them. And now let's add. Since this was an add, we're going to add. So 5 plus 0 is 5. 7 plus 5 is 13, so 3 carry the 1. The decimal place stays in the same place. 7 plus 2 is 9, plus 1 more is 10. So 0 carry the 1. 1 plus 1 plus 0 is 2, so my answer is 20.35. Next one, same idea. This 12 has a decimal place right here, even though you don't see it. So I'm going to say 4.2, add a 0 over here. Add, so 0 plus 2 is 2. 2 plus 4 is 6. 1 plus 0 is 1. So my answer is going to be 16.2. 0.3 plus 0.8. So I'm just going to line those up here. 0.3, lining up my decimal places. I'm adding. 8 plus 3 is 11, so 1, carry the 1. 1 plus 0 is 1. So my answer is going to be 1.1. Coming down here to subtraction problems, I normally just put the longer number first, or the bigger number first, or the first number first, I guess would be proper. So I'm going to say 11.46 minus 3.6. Again, I'm just going to kind of fill in those zeros to make me happy. So I'm going to say 6 minus 0 is 6. 4 minus 6, I'm going to need to borrow. So I'm going to make that a 0 and bring that over. 14 minus 6 is 8. I have 0 minus 3 now. I'm going to borrow, make that a 0, that's a 10. So it's going to be 7. Again, just keep that decimal place in the same point. So it's going to be 7.86. 5.2 minus 4.87. So I'm going to have to add a 0 in there. So I'm going to start off with 0 minus 7. So I'm going to borrow, I'll make that a 1, make this a 10. 10 minus 7 is 3. 1 minus 8, again I have to borrow, so make that a 4, make this an 11. 11 minus 8 is 3. 4 minus 4 is 0, so my answer is going to be 0.33. One more here, I got 3 minus 2.94, so I'm just going to write this 3 minus 2.94. Remember the decimal place is right here on the 3, that's why I lined it up that way. Add zeros over here. 0 minus 4, I'm going to need to borrow all the way from over here, make that a 2, that a 10, that a 9, that a 10. 10 minus 4 is 6. 9 minus 9 is 0. Keep that decimal place right here. 2 minus 2 is 0. So my answer is going to be 0.06. Hope you can do that okay. If not, feel free to ask questions or watch the movie again. Your homework is on page 161. You're doing all the 24s, the 23s, and 13 more of your choice. Good luck.